But however, with respect to security in the library, I would do two things that are preventive in nature as opposed to solving a problem that I don't think is there right now. One is that I would, advocate as a trustee that a part of routine police patrols, be it an auxiliary duty of the school resource officer or just, it's relatively easy to do, I could leave it to the organization of Chief Ryan, is that an officer walks through the library occasionally. Just walks through. And again, that has a deterrent effect. You go, several times a week, various times, probably after school is an important time, in the evening, probably shortly before closing is a good time. Just walk through. And that will have an effect. The other thing that I would advocate, and it's something I could do myself from my own background, is some security awareness training for the staff, with the exception of the person who is just has a mental problem or there's a drug problem or something. Crime perpetrated on a child or thefts, and there's a big problem in the library with thefts, particularly with certain music collection items. It generally is not someone gets up and says, I'm going to go commit a crime this day. They have been in the library before. They have looked around at what they're going to do or who they're going to prey upon. There are ways to notice that ahead of time. And if it's noticed ahead of time and reported, you will have preventative crime from occurring. And that is, by the way, that is something that is no cost. That is policy and procedures. That's done for free, and I know that it works.
Thank you. Karen?
Actually, that security awareness is a very good idea, and I think the librarians that you have over there are focused on the children that come in there, and they are aware, and they do walk around, and that's a biggie, walk around, not staying behind the desks, getting out and seeing what's going on. And you do see that from those librarians. And absolutely, proximity is a great idea. I mean, that will keep a lot of problems from happening, and we haven't had any problems here. And I think it has served as a great deterrent, being in the location that we are. Excuse me. And I think just if we continue doing that and are aware of who's walking in the door, and they certainly have that, as you walk past the door, they have the that little device that goes off as you walk past, if there's anything going on. Those librarians are aware, and I think they already have the great security awareness training going on in place.
Thank you. April, we'll go with your second question, and we'll stay with you, Karen.
Okay, you sort of addressed this a little while ago, but I'll ask it just the same. With the changing demographics here in town, the elderly housing projects such as Twin Gate on the horizon, are there any plans for stronger programs for that certain demographic of the population?
Well, again, that's something that more so than anything else has to be marketed. Mm-hmm. So even if they're even just starting to think about that, the whole point is we know that the demographics are there. We need to start, even if it's just posters, even if it's just a print ad in the paper, especially using the Londonderry Times. I mean, we can certainly get out enough information, and I would be an advocate of marketing the materials that we do have at the library to all segments of our population.
Raymond?
Yes, the library intensely serves and fulfills a real need that goes beyond just entertainment and leisure time to four particular demographics: the young, the old, the immigrant, and the poor, where they receive at the local library, obtain at the local library what is just not available to them elsewhere. It is marketing, it's education, it is making known to the public and that what is available, but then also very important that the customer service, the service to clients at the library, is something that makes them wish to return and tell other people, because they're going to be associating with people like them, that the library can help you here. And that, I think, is very, very important. And of those 4 demographics, there are a great many people who don't know the difference between the circulation desk up front and the reference desk over on the side, whereas where you really get your information. That needs to be explained. Newspapers, public fora, and mostly in the library itself, that the people working in the library need to know not everybody knows what goes on there. And that front desk is different from the reference desk, is different from the youth services librarian. Let's make that known, and let's do it very, very well. Accountability within the library, and I am not in any way intimating that there is a problem there, but let's make sure that people in those positions are accountable and they want to do it so people keep coming back and tell their friends.
Thank you. All right, Trent, your last question, and we'll stay with you, Raymond.
Okay.
Just following up on my last question. So it looks like there will be a layoff in the library this upcoming year. What service could you see being cut?
I am not convinced, for the amount of money we're talking about, that a service is going to have to be cut. As I said, I'm not sure that's a vertical cut. I think that may be a horizontal cut, okay? And so I would look at those horizontal cuts at this time. Perhaps someone loses a few hours. A part-time worker is more part-time than originally envisioned. Some of the summer pages, perhaps you're not going to get as many hours as you want. And I would look seriously at the collection development statistics of what is moving and what isn't. And there may be some places where we're reinforcing failure of books that do not circulate, music that does not circulate, or we've been getting that series of books for so many years, and when is the last time that was looked at? I think there are economies of scale that we can achieve that way for the amount of money we were talking. If you were telling me that we were having $150,000, $200,000 shortfall, then we're going to be cutting services. For the amount we're talking about, I don't see that right now. I also, if I may, will follow on one thing I'm a little bit concerned about. That library was renovated during a time of actually economic recession in this area. And one of the eloquent arguments was this is important to do so that people in hard economic times have access to information they wouldn't have other times. Well, we're a decade beyond that now. That building faces west. It gets the prevailing west winds here with all the rain and snow and